Today in crypto, powerful forces are currently being unleashed by the world's central banks, and those forces are pushing stocks and gold and Bitcoin higher. A new all-time high is coming for Bitcoin. The only question is, when is that going to happen? Also, Ethereum Classic has been hit by a fresh wave of attacks, and a new round of massive crypto FOMO might be starting as companies start to buy Bitcoin as a hedge against the dollar. My name is Lark, and this is where you subscribe for all of the hottest and all of the latest happening out here in the wild, wild land of crypto. So let's talk about Bitcoin to get started with. The big orange guy, still looking solid, hanging out just below $12,000 at the time of recording this video. The daily charts are looking very, very bullish. We broke past that key line of resistance at $10,500. We came back down to retest that, flip that resistance into support, and now we are pushing higher. That was a technically very bullish move. The next real target for Bitcoin is $13,900. If we break that, then we are sailing past the highs of last year, and we will be well on our way to $20,000 and new highs beyond that. Also, new data is out, and it shows that whales bought the Bitcoin dip earlier this week. So check out this chart here. It shows the amount of Bitcoin held in exchange wallets versus the price of Bitcoin. Now we can see here that a massive amount of Bitcoin was bought after the big dip last weekend and moved off of the exchange. In total, 100,000 Bitcoin was withdrawn from exchanges during that period. Now this actually corresponds with a spike in the number of addresses holding between 1,000 and 10,000 Bitcoin. So we got approximately 3 new whales from this move the other day entering the Bitcoin market. Now, you might think, Lark, 3 whales, that's not really all that many whales. You have to keep in mind what a whale in this term actually is. I mean, these are big players. They're holding between $12 million and $120 million worth of Bitcoin. That's a lot of Bitcoin, man. Also, I wanted to share this with you real quick. This is a quote from the famous macro investor Raoul Pal. He posted this over on his Twitter today. I thought it was just a great sentiment. I wanted to share it with you. He said, "My conviction levels in Bitcoin rise every day. I'm already irresponsibly long. I am now thinking it may not be even worth owning any other asset as a long-term asset allocation." That's bullish, man. That is definitely bullish. Look, I wanted to share it with you just to help you understand that this macro picture, when you really see it, it's hard not to feel the same way that Raoul does. It's so crazy out there. We're going to talk about a few of the reasons here. Now, here's some evidence that I think is going to add a bit of fuel to that sentiment. Correlation to the S&P 500, it is falling for Bitcoin. You can see on this chart here that there has been a drop in the correlation in the previous weeks. Yes, we're still, I think, uncomfortably closely correlated to the S&P 500. It's not a non-correlated asset at this time. But as Bitcoin is breaking out, it is creating more and more distance between what was really heavy correlation post-crash back in March. That being said, Bitcoin, stocks, and gold, they are all likely to run much, much higher as inflation continues to ramp up. There's a very strong chance that the Federal Reserve of the United States will actually inflate too much and do a lot of damage to the dollar, pushing all of those assets up. We are now witnessing unparalleled global central bank manipulation, and that should remain a powerful force pushing Bitcoin higher along with most of these other key assets. Central banks, they're trying so hard to prevent deflation, where of course, you'd see purchasing power of your currency actually go up instead of going down. No. Central banks aren't interested in that. They are interested in inflation. In fact, the Federal Reserve is targeting an inflation rate above 2% while also pushing interest rates down. And the very real possibility of negative interest rates for the USA, much like they already have in Europe, is becoming an increasing likelihood. Basically, nothing could be more bullish for gold and Bitcoin than negative interest rates and inflation above 2%. This, of course, is pushing macro investors from the kind of more traditional investment class into gold and of course sending gold to new highs. And as a rule of thumb, the factors that are good for pushing gold up, they're also good for Bitcoin. The recent Bitcoin rally, I think, is a very simple and clear evidence of this trend. This is also bullish for the stock market, since the Fed has proven time and time again, just very simply, that they are here to support the markets. Most of the stimulus money we've seen come out of the US, it's going into buying corporate debt, it's going into providing liquidity to the markets, it's going into ensuring corporate profits that the investor class cannot lose. All of which sends the signal to the market that it's just going to keep going up and up and up and up, until it doesn't, but for a while anyway. Terrible economic data showing some of the very, very grim realities for Americans, like a looming eviction crisis, rising hunger rates, mass small business extinction, dramatic falls in consumer spending, and staggering unemployment. All of that should, in theory, spell massive trouble for the markets. But oh no. No. Not when the Fed is in town, ensuring that no investors can lose. But internationally, the dollar is starting to be seen, I think, less and less favorably. In July, the US dollar actually suffered its worst month in over 10 years. And the dollar index is now actually at risk of falling below a very, very key trend line. So that's something that could send the dollar even farther down. The simple reality is this, that with these policies that are currently being enacted, the dollar long term, it's not going to be a winner. And slowly but steadily, the dollar is losing its appeal as the global reserve currency. And as the dollar continues to get hit and the threat of massive runaway inflation becomes even more and more likely, which of course will lead to major assets continuing to rise. Gold and Bitcoin and stocks, they're all going to keep moving up so long as the central banks keep acting like this. Bitcoin going to a new all-time high is only a question of when it's going to happen, not if it's going to happen. A big thank you to Crypto.com for sponsoring today's episode. The next syndicate event will be held on August 11th and will give you the chance to buy Paxos Gold tokens at a 50% discount. As usual, you'll need CRO tokens staked on the exchange to be eligible. Crypto.com has also just enabled recurring buys via the app, so it makes it super, super easy for you to be able to dollar cost average into your favorite cryptocurrency. But of course, the big news of the week is that Crypto.com has announced the end of the MCO token. Now, there is an ongoing token swap happening for the current card holders. So if you currently have MCO locked up for your card, you need to convert that into CRO tokens, and you will get a 20% bonus for doing that if you act fast. And I actually think that this is great news, especially for anyone who wants to grab a debit card but hasn't actually done it yet. Because with the readjusted requirements, a ruby red card only costs 1,000 CRO tokens, which is about $160 based on today's prices. And of course, when you sign up using the link down below, you'll get a $50 bonus after reserving a ruby red tier card or higher. And of course, you can enjoy 2% cashback rewards on every swipe of your card with the ruby red card, as well as free Spotify. And you get more perks for a higher tier card like the jade green, things like premium lending rates, free Netflix, airport lounge access, and much, much more. Cards are now shipping to the USA, Australia, the Philippines, New Zealand, the EU, the UK, and soon coming to Canada. So grab yours today using the link down below. Okay, the first big story for today. Coinbase has announced that Band Protocol will be listed on the exchange. Now, following this news, the price is unsurprisingly up massively. By the way, what a textbook retest of support, followed by super moon time on that chart for Band. I love it. Anyway, I mention this not just because Band is mooning, that's awesome, but because first, Coinbase moon pumps, it is a surefire indication of a bull market, and two, that Coinbase last week released a list of DeFi cryptocurrencies that they are researching listing. Obviously, Band was one of those. Other prominent names include Balancer, Kava, Reserve, Fetch, and Curve. Coinbase is definitely going to list more DeFi crypto. The only question is which one is up next. Okay, let's move on now to Ethereum Classic. It has just been attacked for the second time this week with a 51% attack. What shocks me is that Ethereum Classic is still worth $800 million, and that in spite of 2 successful attacks in less than a week, the price is only down 2.5%. The market doesn't make any sense. That's crazy, man. ETC shouldn't even be in the top 100 anymore. I mean, Ethereum Classic, it's basically a dead chain. There's around 30,000 transactions per day compared to Ethereum's 1.2 million transactions a day. By the way, this is not the first time the Ethereum Classic has been attacked. January of last year, it also suffered from a successful attack. I mean, this is a completely insecure blockchain that no one should really feel safe storing value on. And that, in my opinion, is going to slowly slide into irrelevance. Ethereum Classic has no network effect. It's an insecure blockchain. And basically, every other blockchain released in the last 2 years is superior to Ethereum Classic. It's just, I don't see it as a long-term winner. But, the market is not rational, so, that's why Ethereum Classic is still a top 30 cryptocurrency. It doesn't make sense. It just is. Anyway, moving on. Grayscale now has $5.7 billion in assets under management. Bitcoin, of course, is still by far the number 1, but Ethereum is a powerful number 2 on this list. And I mention this because Grayscale has just filed for its Ethereum Trust to become an SEC reporting company. Now, if this is successful, it would be crypto's second one of these after, of course, Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust. Grayscale commented today that it's clearer than ever there is a strong demand for an Ethereum access product as the trust has grown to become the largest Ethereum investment vehicle in the world. Now, that says that there's a lot of institutional interest here for their Ethereum Trust. Their Ethereum Trust has already brought in $135.2 million in investment in the second quarter of 2020, which is incredibly significant. Now, this accounted for 15% of the total inflows to Grayscale, which again, very significant. Now, with the filing, Grayscale aims to attract, of course, even more institutional investors in because they're already investing in it, but some institutions are actually restricted in investments that they can make if it's not registered with the SEC, like this is going to be. It is clear that institutions want Ethereum. Grayscale would not be doing this if they did not. In Grayscale, it's about to deliver it for them. This has been a just totally wild year with the entrance of all these institutional players and of this powerful demand rising, especially for the top cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin's fundamentals, they're making a very, very bullish picture. Ethereum as well. And now something else for Bitcoin, we are starting to get corporations on the Fomo train. A publicly traded company called MicroStrategy, which is an analytics software company, is investing $250 million into a range of different assets, including Bitcoin, as well as precious metals and stocks too. Now they're doing this to increase the strength of their balance sheet. The company's rationale here is that it primarily hinges on Bitcoin's ability to hedge against what they see as an increasingly frail dollar. The CEO of MicroStrategy said that we need that capital base in order to assure our investors, our employees, and our customers and our partners that we're going to be around through the good times and the bad times. Bitcoin, man. Bitcoin. You know what this means, right? This is the start of company Fomo. A company is literally going to invest probably tens of millions of dollars into Bitcoin. That's crazy. And seriously, what company is going to want to be the last one to buy Bitcoin when their competitors are already starting to take Bitcoin positions? And just imagine when some of the really big companies start to make a move and start buying Bitcoin with their cash piles. Right now, for example, Microsoft has $136 billion in cash. Google has $121 billion in cash. Apple has $106 billion in cash. So many companies are sitting on incredibly large war chests of cash right now. It's crazy. Even a small fraction of that money moving into Bitcoin would be massive. corporation FOMO. It is the next wave of money coming into the crypto markets. The banks are already starting to FOMO. We've heard a lot of those stories here. Institutional players like funds, they're already starting to FOMO in. Macro investors, they're FOMOing in. Retail investors, they're FOMOing in. We've discussed all of this at length here on the channel. But corporations, they're doing it. They're coming. They're coming. This bull run is going to be like nothing that anyone has ever seen before. It's going to be so crazy. I'm so excited. So excited. It's awesome. Anyway, those are just my 2 Satoshis for today. Your question: what cryptocurrency in the top 50 do you believe has no place at all being there anymore? And you're just looking, you're just genuinely surprised. How is this still here? Why does it have such a big market cap? I don't understand. Anyway, let me know down below. Curious to hear what coins you think don't have a place in the top 50. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Hope you're having an awesome day wherever you are and whatever you're doing out there in the crazy, crazy world. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.